Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Angie B Podcast. Well, today is Saturday and it's about 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's when we show up and hopefully showing out. Okay. So anyway, I want to get right into it. Again, welcome back to the Angie B Podcast. Thank you for spending some of your Saturday with me. And not only that, anytime you want to listen to the podcast or any podcast, you can always go on and listen at any time of the day, any time of the year, anytime. Okay? Whenever you want to, because they're up. All right. So either you could go over to the Angie B Podcast on our YouTube channel, or you could go to the website at www.angiebpodcast.com. All right. Enough of that stuff. Well, everybody, guess what? I did something this week that I almost talked myself out of doing, okay? I officially launched Angelique Collections, all right? Yes. And actually, I launched a little earlier than I planned, and I'm glad I did because there was so many glitches in the program. And hey, by me going in there playing with it, and I said, okay, I need to go ahead and make it live so I could see if things are working. And yeah, I was on support service. I could think it's called support service. Anyway, it's for customer service, it's support, whatever. Anyway, and I'm with Shopify. And so I was on there with them. I had to get on there twice with them. And I'm still really not finished. But, I got it up. Things are working. And I'm glad I opened the store up actually yesterday. I'm excited about it. But today, is the official soft launch at 12 noon. Or you can go over there now, okay? Because it's up, baby, and running. Like I said, they individual pieces. When they gone, they gone. So now, you would think that because I've been making handbags and accessories for years, putting them on a website and saying, okay, they're for sale would be the easy part, right? No. Making the bag is the easy part, y'all. Seriously, for me, because I've been doing it for so long. It's everything that comes after you make the bag. That'll get you, okay? Is the price too high? Is the price too low? And are people going to understand what I'm doing? Do I have enough product? Should I charge this? Should I change this? Should I change that? Should I make something everybody else is making? Of course, I know better than that, and I'm not going to do that because that's not what I do. So I don't care whether I thought it or not. No, I shouldn't make something everybody else is making, right? And even if they are making it, it's still going to be different, all right? And then there's the big one. Maybe I shouldn't launch this at all. Yep. That's where I was. But I launched it anyway. And while all of this was happening, I started paying attention to what was going on in the handbag and fashion industry. And something caught my attention. Y'all, listen, let me back this up before I get into what caught my attention, all right? So I had to, when I'm on with Shopify, you have a chat. First, you have your AI chat, right? And so then I said, well, no, I need to talk to customer support. So then they'll connect you to real customer support, all right? It's still a chat, but baby, it's still somebody real, okay, on the other end. And I really appreciate that because they'll send me screenshots telling me what I need to do in my own account, to get me set up and everything, which they did. And I really appreciated that. And they're very knowledgeable of what they're doing. And they walk me right through stuff. I'll be on there for a minute, but, they're looking at my site and everything. And so I really like Shopify. I like it. I like it because it offers a lot of amenities. You hear me? Amenities. It offers a lot of those, especially when you're shopping, and if you want to buy a few things, and maybe you want to purchase things for gifts, and I ain't the only one to have it. It's called Shop. So I'm not the only one that has that on my website as a small business. Other small businesses have it, and also not small business, big business have it too, okay? So it lets you pay monthly payments, okay? Now, this is not sponsored by Shopify, even though it should be, right? Okay, but it's not today, all right? But who knows what's going to happen in the future, all right? Speak those things that aren't as though they were. All right, so as we move on, so I finally got everything up, but I still want to probably change my shop around a little bit because I believe in the presentation, all right, of something. And I'm really excited, though, that I finally got it up, and I'm excited about 12 noon to see what happened today, right? So in the meanwhile, I wanted to tell you about some things that caught my eye, caught my attention as I was looking into the handbag and fashion industry. As y'all know, I create one-of-a-kind pieces, and even though I create one-of-a-kind pieces, I can still create that bag. It won't be the same. It'll be the same size, of course, because I have a template for the size. But however, things won't be placed in the same place. Things are not going to look the same, but it's the same. How can I say it? But it's the same. It's the bag, but it's close to. They close to each other, but none of them are the same. Okay, I guess I said that right. Anyway, you got to go over to the website at Angelique Collections and just check that out, and you will see what I'm talking about. But anyway, okay, so what caught my attention? So people still want handbags, but they want a reason to buy them, right? So luxury handbag sales have come down from their peak. That's what it was saying, in the articles. And I'm going to link the articles on my on the Angelique Collection blog, okay, so you can see it. And it said, that doesn't mean women suddenly stop loving handbags just because luxury bag sales went down, right? Please. Okay? We love a handbag. So let's not get carried away, all right? Because we still love the handbags, all right? What it does tell us is that consumers are paying closer attention to what they're getting for their money, okay? I understand that. Now, at the same time, we're seeing fashion move forward, individuality, okay? Craftsmanship, texture, and statement pieces, bags with personalities, because I know Chanel just came out with a bag, baby. It had a poodle on the front of it and some beads or something, but you have to call them, baby, for one of those. They like, oh, yeah, you do. It's cute. It's cute, but it's $1 million probably. But anyway, keep on going. So people are looking for bags, like I said, with personality, pieces that feel special, things that don't necessarily look like everything else hanging on a rack. I understand that. That's why people, listen, when they go into the thrift stores and they recreate from the thrift pieces, listen, that's why people like that stuff. I see all the time women taking pieces and creating different things with it. I still have a jacket that I have to finish that I had started working on. And I said, oh my God, I need to purchase some patches. I don't have to purchase anything when I have a whole machine that can make the patches, right? I'm like, what am I thinking about, right? Sometimes you just got to look around you to see what you have. But let's get back to this. So, like I said, people are looking for bags with personality, pieces that feel special, things that don't necessarily look like everything else hanging on a rack, okay? And when I started reading that, I thought, wait a minute, isn't that what I've been doing? I've been doing this for years, right? Because that's the whole thing and the whole idea behind Angelique Collections. And it's Angelique Collections and Collections with an S, okay? Just in case. All right. But I'll have some links too. But anyway, let's keep moving. So I didn't want to make something you see everywhere, okay? I don't want every woman walking down the street carrying the exact same bag. I create wearable art, okay? Then I looked at my collection, right? My fall collection, and this is when it really got interesting. So you notice me, right? Because I just messed up. And this is where it really got interesting. My fall collection has a soft cream canvas, right? With these rich chocolate brown hand-painted details. I'm adding texture, I'm adding bows, I'm adding different details. I'm making accessories to go along with the collection, right? And even when two pieces come from the same collection, I don't want them to be identical, all right? They have their own personality. So when I'm hearing the fashion industry talk about individuality, craftsmanship, and statement accessories, I'm sitting in my studio thinking, well, hello, I've been over here, okay? But then something else hit me, something I really had to admit to myself. Y'all, I think I've been playing it too safe, right? I'm going to put some screenshots up on the video so you can see what I'm talking about some bags that I used to make. And when I told you when I did my first art show or first vendor event, I did it in New York. And baby, them bags sold like crazy. And they were like, when I look back at them now, they were some of the most craziest bags, right? But they were so creative. And you know they were artist bags. You couldn't get that anywhere else. And I'm going to shoot some pictures up here so you can see it. And I was like, oh my God, right? And so a friend of mine, she keep on saying, you need to make some of those bags you used to make. And I know what she's talking about. And I'm working on those, right? So sometimes, y'all, I feel like I started playing it safe when it comes to making my handbags and accessories, right? And that's not how I started. Baby, listen. When I first started designing, I went ham on my designs, right? I mean, I went for it. If I thought of it, I tried it. I mixed materials. I painted. I played with different textures. I experienced with shapes. I added things somebody else probably wouldn't even look at and say, you putting that on a bag? Yeah, sure am. But you know what? I wasn't sitting there asking myself, is this too much? Are people going to understand this? Should I tone it down? I was just creating. And some of those original designs, y'all, listen. Y'all, you all haven't even seen all of them yet, all right? But you're going to. Because some of those designs will be added to the Angelique Collections website soon. And going back and looking at my older work made me realize something. I was fearless, y'all, when I first started, okay? Maybe part of that was because I didn't know enough to be scared yet. And I still don't, so I don't even know what I'm talking about because I don't even do that. What they say, I don't do nothing like that. So scared about what? Sometimes not knowing everything is a blessing, all right? Business can actually start messy with the artist. So what I mean by that is once you've been in business for a while, something happens. You start thinking differently. How much will this cost? How long will this take me? What should I charge? Will somebody actually buy this? Can I ship it? Is it too different? Should I simplify it? What's everybody else selling? That's, you get to thinking that. Let me look at what they selling, right? And before you know it, you're no longer creating from, look what I can make. You're creating from, what do I think somebody will buy? I don't do that. We don't do that. And let me tell you why. I don't do that. I don't do that. I know we think like that sometimes, but I don't do that. Let me tell you why. I noticed that some of the big brands, when I see stuff out here, even things that I've created like Friends, stuff like that, I'm telling y'all, back when, they wasn't doing all that. They didn't have all that stuff out. And then they saw creative people who didn't have the money to get out there quick like they could because they had the money to manufacture that stuff. And they would get out there and the next thing you know, that design, I'm like, that looked like, because somebody told me, I had did a design. They said, oh my God, that bag looked like, baby, mine was out here first before they did it. That does not look like, because it was a designer, a big designer. I'm telling y'all, they scam. Okay, well, They go through the internet. I shouldn't have said scam, but they go through the internet and they find things. I don't know if y'all ever heard Dapper Dan's story. Y'all probably go over there and get his book. Dapper Dan, it's on audio as well, or the book. I have it and I always listen to it. How he started out, you know what I'm saying? But he got a good deal with Gucci. I want to say Gucci. Anyway, but listen to how he got the deal, right? So I'm telling you, things can happen for you. You just have to stay out there pushing things, right? And people have to see what you're doing, So, just to tell you that. So to get back to the story, okay? And I wanted to say that there's a place for both, okay? I'm a businesswoman. I'm not going to sit here and act like sales don't matter, because they do. They matter to everybody. And of course they matter. If something isn't selling, I need to look at it, right? Maybe the price needs adjusting, but I ain't going to adjust my prices too much, because let me tell you this, my prices are already great prices because my things are one of a kind and they're handmade, all right? So you don't have so many of those bags out there. It's not like I went to a manufacturing company, even though I couldn't get in a few shows because they said that I did, which I didn't. I made those myself, okay, by hand, baby, and still do. And I didn't go to a manufacturing company where they're being mass produced, all right? So, yeah, everything that's done is hand painted. If you want bag A or bag B and you like that, you'll have the same shape. The paint's not going to be in the same place. It's not going to even have the same pattern to it, but I can, put it together like I usually do, but it's going to come out in different spaces, but that's okay. All right. So getting back to, the price being adjusted, not that much, not on mine. Maybe the photographs aren't showing the product properly. Sometimes that can happen. Maybe people don't understand what they're buying, all right? Sometimes that can happen. That's why I try to put as much detail in there as possible. Maybe I'm marketing to the wrong customer. That can happen too, right? So I look at a lot of people from the UK and the Netherlands have been coming over to my site, and checking our stuff out. So that's a good thing, right? So that's international though, right? So, but I get a lot of stuff, many people from the US though. So that's a good thing as well. So maybe the product itself needs work sometime. Maybe it does, maybe it don't. But that's business, y'all. But there's a difference between adjusting your business strategy and watering down the things that made you different in the first place. So if something made me different in the first place, I'm not finna water it down, right? Okay, I'm not going to adjust my strategies because they sold in New York, baby. They sold like crazy, right? And they were selling on site and people were ordering from all over the world. Seriously, some of my custom bags, I have to show you though. And I think I need to remind myself of that, right? Sometimes I have to remind myself of that because no, I'm not watering down a handmade custom piece. If when I measure that piece of canvas before I put it all together and that whole bag is wrapped in that canvas, when I measure that piece of canvas, let me tell you something. When I looked it up, those pieces would sell for $2,000, just the art itself, okay? So when I add all the other stuff and then made it into a bag, inside pockets, leather handles, all this stuff, baby, and what you getting it for from me, I'm underpricing myself. I shouldn't have said that, but yeah, because it's a market for everybody, all right? And you don't want to make it too cheap and you don't want to make it too high. You don't want to make it too cheap, but it's like, it's what it is. So right? I feel like I want some of that old Angie back. You know what I'm saying? So I want some of that designer back who would look at fabric, leather, paint, hardware, and whatever else I could get my hands on and say, I don't know exactly what I'm about to do with this, but give me a minute. Okay? That's the truth right there. And because that's where some of my best work happened, There wasn't a committee. There wasn't a focus group. It was just me and an idea. And I think that's one of the things I'm bringing back into Angelique Collections. I'm still going to be smart about the business. I'm still watching my costs because Angelique Collection was never supposed to be safe. I don't do safe, okay? I remember when, again, you know me, my New York got it, okay? I remember my first vendor event, like I always tell y'all, with my handbags was in New York. My friend Kim lived there, and she came and helped me. And I'll never forget how people responded to my work. They got it. They understood what I meant by wearable art. They understood that the bags weren't supposed to look like everything else. And I remember joking about how I felt like Jesus when he had to leave his own hometown to do a miracle. Now, hold on. I'm not comparing myself to Jesus because I know y'all tripping out there. Don't even try it. What I'm saying is, y'all know what I mean, okay? You know when he had to leave because he couldn't do miracles in his own country. Come on now. And then he came back and things happened. Well, sometimes people outside of where you come from see something in you before the people around you do. And then also, you know, you got haters, people who hating on you. Let me tell you something. People who won't repost your work or even share it or like it or comment on it, even if they like it. And you know what? Why is that only with us? Why is that only with us? Why is that only with our work? I'm not saying that some people don't do it to some other people, but I'm just saying us, our people. Why? Why you hating on me? You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody got time for that. There's a lot of stuff that everybody can do. We don't need to be doing that. Okay, let me get back. Y'all know I ain't lying. So every time you see my stuff and you scroll by and you say, ooh, that's cute, but I ain't going to like, subscribe, and say nothing. Okay, you don't have to, hater. Just a hater. And what you hating on? You know, straighten that up. Everybody need to straighten themselves up. Straighten yourself up. Get your life together so things will be better for you, okay? I don't know why I went there. But anyway, back home, somebody once thought my bags were manufactured. I told you about that, right? And you know what? Thank you. I'll take that compliment. But no, these two hands made that. And that's something I don't want to lose, okay? There's another side to one of a kind. Here's something I think we don't talk about enough. Everybody says they want something different. I don't want what everybody else has. Okay. But truly different products can also be harder to sell, all right? Because people immediately understand something they're already seen 500 times, right? Let me say that again. Because people immediately understand something they've already seen 500 times, right? So when you show them something they've never seen before, sometimes you have to teach them what they're looking at, all right? That's one of the challenges of being a small independent designer. I'm not selling you a factory-made handbag that I ordered by the hundreds and put my logo on. Now, if that's what you want, I could do that, but I ain't finna do that because you know I'll do that, right? But I'm starting with materials in my studio. I'm painting, I'm cutting, I'm sewing, I'm adding the lining, I'm adding pockets, I'm adding handles. I'm making decisions as I go. Sometimes a design change while I'm making it. That's why I call it wearable art. And that's also why every bag isn't going to cost $49.99, y'all. Let's just put that out there, okay? They're one of a kind. They're art pieces. They go in an art gallery, okay? I was even on an art wall one time at the library, y'all. I'm telling y'all, seriously, this is true story, true statement. I almost let pricing get in my head, right? Because you can do that, you know, because we do that sometimes. And so I'm like, I can't do that. So I'm going to tell you something else. I started questioning my prices because when you put something online and you're waiting for the first sale, your mind starts playing games with you. Maybe I should lower it. I'm not going to do that, y'all. Maybe it's too much. No, it's not. Maybe if I make it cheaper, it'll sell faster. I ain't trying to do that either. But cheaper doesn't automatically mean better business. And expensive doesn't automatically mean good business either. Now, let me say this. The price has to make sense for the product, the labor, the material, and the customer you're trying to reach. What I don't want to do is price handmade work like mass-produced merchandise just because I'm nervous, right? I ain't that nervous, though. But anyway, because once I do that, I basically tell them, the customer, that all those hours of work don't have any value. And they do. When I got laid off from my job, and then I retired, and then, I went back to doing some things, because you got to make money, right? You got to make money. It's a part of life, right? And since things have changed here in the U.S. and new administration, stuff like that, right? Well, now some people don't want to hire you, okay? And then I hear a lot of people online, it don't matter what color they are, they like, hey, they laid me off, or I can't find a job. And I've been saying this for a long time. They do age discrimination, and they do, y'all. So that's why no matter what you're doing, I don't care if you're working for somebody, start doing something that you love on the side to make some money. So just in case you get the slip that you didn't know was coming because they just patted you on the back and told you, oh, you're doing very good. Oh, this is so amazing. Then all of a sudden they let you go. Okay? Come on now. You don't need no surprises, and you need to be able to create and make some money. There's a lot of ways to do things. Check out my creative maker space. We'll talk about that later. We're not going to talk about it on this podcast. So, what is Angelique Collections now? What is it? That's a question I've been asking myself. And I think I know. It's going back to its roots, right? Where it's been, where it's never changed, the one-of-a-kind handbags and accessories for women who don't want what everyone else has. So the Fall 2026 collection is part of that. You will see the cream and chocolate collection. You will see handbags, earrings, totes, and charms. You will see accessories, and you're going to see other products coming too. I'm going to continue adding new pieces to the website weekly until I don't have anything else to add, y'all. But I'll always have something to add because they're being creative. Oh, I got some shirts coming out, baby. Ooh, y'all better sign up for the newsletter over there too, okay? I keep trying to tell y'all, I got some sign-ups, but baby, y'all better do it. Because that's where you get your, I'll have coupons and stuff like that. You get discounts, not because I'm selling my stuff cheap, because I'm not, but sometimes first-time buyers, some stuff like that when we have specials or we just want to reward people, and there's nothing wrong with that, especially when they support you as a small business. Because, baby, it's hard getting people to support you as a small business, I ain't talking about the haters. The haters gonna hate. Let them do what they do. That means you're doing something right, baby. You're doing something right. But I know for sure God got you. So, God will bless you. He will with your business. He will bless you. All right. But you're also going to start seeing some of those earlier designs. Right. So, like I said, I popped some photos up in here so you can see it. And the ones where I really went for it, those are the ones where I really went for it, all right? And when those start showing up, you're going to understand what I mean when I say I was the ham, baby. I was ham. I don't know if that's the right word that they use these days. I don't know. But anyway, yeah. So, and when it's gone, y'all, understand that it's gone. There's something else that's important about Angelique Collections. When it comes to those one-of-a-kind handmade pieces, when they gone, they gone. I keep saying that, right? So I may use a similar color again. I may work with a similar material. I might even revisit an idea, but I'm not trying to reproduce the exact same piece over and over again. That's the whole point here, okay? I don't want 500 women carrying the exact same Angelique Collections handbag. I want somebody to be able to say, this one is mine. And that's what makes it special. I was talking to a young lady who's a friend and a customer. And I got to do some things for her. She said she was at a luncheon. It was an AKA luncheon. And she said, oh, my God, I saw one of your handbags. And I went up to the young lady and I said, is that an Angelique Collection? And the girl, she was like, the other lady said, yes, it is. And she said, I got a bag similar to that. See what I'm talking about, y'all? It might be the same color, but I think she said, but mine got a little more pink in it, And the lady opened up her handbag and showed it was Angelique Collections. She said, "Oh my God." And then she told me, "I don't know why I didn't wear my bag. I don't know why I didn't wear my bag." I said, "Don't be having me just sit up in y'all closets, baby. Y'all pull me out and wear me, all right?" But that was really inspiring to know because it was something that she saw. And she knew it was mine. You understand what I'm saying? It was my part of my collection. So, maybe different isn't the problem, y'all. And this brings me back to where I started. The fashion industry is talking about individuality again. Craftsmanship, texture, statement pieces, personality, things that feel special. And maybe that's something every small business owner and creator needs to think about. Maybe the answer isn't always becoming more like everybody else. Sometimes the answer is becoming more of who you were supposed to be in the first place, okay? Now, and that's being different. Now, don't take that as an excuse to ignore your numbers, all right? If nobody is buying something, investigate why. Look at the product, look at the price, look at the customer, look at your marketing. Make changes where changes need to be made. But don't automatically assume nobody wants this because I'm too different or it's too different. Maybe they haven't found you yet. Maybe you're not explaining it well enough. Maybe you're showing it to the wrong people, or maybe you started playing it safe and the very thing people would have noticed about you is the thing you toned down. Ooh, y'all. Now, that was something. I think I just stepped on my own toes with that one. So my challenge to myself and to you, let me go with myself first. So here's my challenge to myself with Angelique Collections. I'm going to stop playing it safe. I'm going to create, experiment, make the crazy bags that I used to, paint the canvas, add the unexpected details, try something and let it fail. Because every design doesn't have to become a bestseller, y'all. Some designs simply need to remind people, oh, that's Angelique Collections. Yes, baby, that's Angelique Collections. Collections with an S, baby. That's the brand I want. Not something that looks like everybody else. Sometimes you recognize because it looks like me. And if you're building something on your own, maybe that's your challenge too. Don't become so focused on selling that you erase that very thing that make people interested in you. Learn the business, watch your money, baby, know your numbers, listen to your customers. Well, sometimes, because people have you making stuff, y'all, and now you're selling it and they ain't coming back to buy it. So be careful with that. But protect your creativity because trend will change. What's popular today won't necessarily be popular next year. But having a point of view, okay? Having something that belongs to you, that's a brand. And so before I go, Angelique Collection is officially live, y'all. At 12 noon, but it's already live. And I still can't believe I'm saying that after almost talking myself out of opening the shop, right? New products will be added weekly, like I said, and you're going to see some surprises coming, y'all, including some of those original Angelique Collections designs where I wasn't playing it safe at all. So keep watching and remember, the handmade one-of-a-kind pieces are exactly that, one-on-one, and when they're gone, they're gone. Because I might make another handbag, but I probably not going to make your handbag again, all right? Visit AngeliqueCollections.com to see what's currently available. This has been the Angie B Podcast, and I'll leave you with this. Maybe you don't need to tone down what makes you different. Maybe it's time to turn it up again. I'll talk to you next time. You've been listening to the Angie B Podcast. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to leave a comment. And don't forget about our launch today over at Angelique Collections with an S.com. All right. See you soon. And the links are always in the description box.